Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Mavid Vishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We'll chant Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4, verses 36 to 40.
अपि चेदसि पापेभ्यः सर्वेभ्यः पापकृत्तमः सर्वं ज्ञानप्लवेनैव वृजिनं सन्तरिष्यसि यथैधांसि समिद्धोऽग्निः भस्मसात् कुरुतेऽर्जुन ज्ञानाग्निः सर्वकर्माणि भस्मसात् कुरुते तथा न हि ज्ञानेन सदृशं पवित्रमिह विद्यते तत्स्वयं योगसंसिद्धः कालेनात्मनि विन्दति श्रद्धावान् लभते ज्ञानं तत्परः संयतेन्द्रियः ज्ञानं लब्ध्वा परां शान्तिम् अचिरेणाधिगच्छति अज्ञश्च श्रद्धानश्च संशयात्मा विनश्यति नायं लोकोऽस्ति न परः न सुखं संशयात्मनः.
After discussing the 12 sadhanas or 12 yajnas, he said of all the sadhanas, of all the yajnas, the highest is jnanam. And he said, therefore, you should gain that jnanam. And when he said that, he doesn't mean that the other sadhanas are not to be followed. All other sadhanas give you that qualification to gain the knowledge. And knowledge brings about the transformation. So therefore he said, finally it is the knowledge. Don't stop with just other practices which only give you chitta shuddhi and chitta ekagrata. Chitta shuddhi means purification of the mind, and chitta ekagrata means single pointedness of the mind. Then ultimately it is the knowledge that will destroy the ignorance and establish you in your real self. Then what are the benefits of knowledge? What happens when you get that knowledge? So in 36 he said, this knowledge will get rid of the delusion that you are caught up in today. And we discussed and said that, what is this delusion? Delusion about ourself. This, when we talk about delusion, we look at it from two different angles. One is delusion about what is dharma and adharma in any context. He actually doesn't mean that here. He means something much deeper. What is that? The other delusion is Atma Anatma delusion. What is my real nature? Who am I? The confusion in that area. Today, I am thinking, I am this karta, I am this doer, I am this body, mind, intellect complex, and I am the doer. I think I am born in this world. This is my understanding about myself. Now you can't say, how does it matter whatever understanding I have? No. It is because of this understanding, because of this perception, because of this vision, I am thinking myself to be this limited individual, and as a result, I am feeling that imaginary void due to which my thoughts run towards the world to acquire the worldly objects and beings and feel complete, become complete. And as I'm acquiring, I start getting attached to the world, and due to this attachment, I go through suffering. So, due to this perception, this vision, this understanding, I am suffering. I have brought about my suffering due to this understanding, due to this delusion. So, when this delusion is corrected by this knowledge, with what understanding about my true nature, who I am. I am not the karta, therefore I am not the bhokta. I am not the doer, therefore I am not the enjoyer of papan punya. Then who am I? I am that sakshi chaitanya. I am the witnessing consciousness. I am a witness. I am that pure consciousness. And when this understanding comes, then you understand that you are not this body, mind, intellect which is born in the world. You are the consciousness, pure consciousness upon which this world, the body, mind, intellect and everything is projected. The whole thing changes. And this perception will make you understand that you are paripurna, complete. Therefore, there is no imaginary void. Therefore, there is no thoughts running towards the world to fulfill and feel complete. And therefore, there is no attachment. And therefore, there is no suffering. And not only that, since you feel that completeness, out of that completeness, your nature manifests and you start playing about in this world. The whole life starts becoming a sport, leela. You understand? You go about doing the same thing, expressing your nature, but now life is now become a leela. Complete difference. Understand? And this vision, this understanding is very, very crucial and important. Stephen Covey gives this, episode. He says once when he was traveling in the train, in the metro, everybody was minding their business and it was peaceful. Suddenly, a gentleman with two sons, teenage boys, got into the compartment and they were running around. So one man got disturbed and he asked, "Are they your sons? Can you not tell them to keep quiet?" He said, "Yes, I'm actually thinking about it, how to tell them, because we just boarded the train after attending the funeral of my wife, that is their mother. And immediately this man said, no, let them be. Don't tell them anything." Before, he was disturbed. Now he is not disturbed. They are running around. Same chaos is prevailing, but it's not disturbing you anymore. Why? What made this difference? What brought about this difference? Your knowledge. Look at it. That's why he says this knowledge can remove the delusion. And then once this delusion is gone, you understand that you are not the karta. When you are not the karta, you are not the enjoyer of papan, punya. There is no papa, no punya, nothing. You understand? It is all in your head. Only and only when you start understanding that you are not the karta. If you are the karta, then obviously you will be the bhokta. Having done an action as a karta, when the result comes, you can't say, "I am not the bhokta." Are you with me? But there is one possibility. I explained this to you last week also. I gave the example of Lord Buddha. Before he turned and became Buddha, he was Siddhartha. As Siddhartha the prince, he walked out of the palace. And he had not taken the permission from his wife. He had not talked about it to his wife. So she was very angry. After 12 years, when he became Buddha, he came back. At that time, his wife, when she met him, she was very angry. Obviously, 12 years she's been suppressing the anger. So she let it loose. She said, "How dare you did this to me, that? Why you could have not told and gone and all that? How much avamana I had to go through because of all this criticisms, this and that." You didn't tell us, But nothing happened to Buddha. Yes, when he walked out as Siddhartha, he might have had Kartritva. But in the 12 years, he had gotten rid of the Kartritva. So when he has now come back as Buddha, he has come back without Kartritva. That's the difference, na? The one with Kartritva is called Siddhartha. When the Kartritva is gone, you have now become Buddha. Now the Buddha, whatever due to his Kartritva, his wife is now shouting, all that is coming to him as the result. But is it affecting him? Why? Because when he is facing it, the Kartritva is gone, therefore no Bhoktritva, therefore no Papa and Punya. And therefore he says in the next shloka after this, so therefore first he said no delusion is gone. When he said Papa and Punya, you rise above. Then he said you become free from all karmas. No karmas will bind you thereafter. The Sanchita and Prarabdha and Agami karma. We discussed this also. Through knowledge, the Sanchita and Agami will get destroyed. Prarabdha will continue giving you experience. Once you experience them, you exhaust them, they get exhausted. Thereafter, once all the Prarabdhas are exhausted, you die and no more birth. So when a Gnani who gains the knowledge exhausts the Vasanas through knowledge, what we mean by that is Sanchita, Agami. Prarabdha continues. But from his angle, even Prarabdha is gone. From our angle only that Prarabdha is there. See, when you see a person continuing even after enlightenment, it is explained by saying it is because of Prarabdha. When you switch off the fan, it doesn't stop immediately due to the initial momentum. It runs for a while and stops. Similarly, the momentum of the individual, the enlightened soul, is making that person continue expressing his or her nature. But from his point of view, from her point of view, they are not identifying with the body, mind and intellect, the ego. So for all practical purposes, they've gone even beyond Prarabdha. That's why, Prarabdha may sometimes give you some extreme situation. See, Prarabdha, remember, Prarabdha doesn't give you suffering. Prarabdha doesn't give you enjoyment. What does Prarabdha give you? Experience, environment, situation. You understand? Now, if you are transformed, the way you will deal with that situation will be different. If you are not transformed, then you are identifying with your what? Body, mind, intellect. Then you say, why this is happening? I've been teaching Bhagavad Gita for the last 30 years. I've been attending Bhagavad Gita classes for the last 30 years. I've been doing this. I've been doing only worshipping you. Which means what? I is still there. As long as the I and mine is there, you will suffer. So, Prarabdha doesn't give you suffering. Prarabdha only gives you situation, experience. So that is why Mahatmas who have gone beyond the Kartritva through the knowledge, there is no suffering for them. Even if you see them physically going through something, certain Mahatmas have got certain disease. You understand? They go through. There is no problem. In fact, when you understand this, as far as Mahatma is concerned, he is not going to say, I don't want to go through this and give up the body. Because he understands it is just body that is going through, mind that is going through, intellect that is going through, I am not going through anything. When somebody insults you, the insult is only to the intellect, not to you. By you identifying with the intellect, now you are going through the suffering. Enlightened person has totally removed the identification. Therefore, no suffering. So, therefore, they are not going to do anything. They are not going to say, let me, commit suicide so that I don't have to go through all these things. They have no interest in living. They have no interest in not living. Are you with me? They have gone beyond the pairs of opposites. Now, if you understand this, then even if you are not enlightened, you will, with this knowledge, as you are trying to digest it, you will not think of escaping. You will not think of suicide. Impossible. Because whatever karma, you will have to face. You can postpone, but you will have to face it. So if you escape here, you will have to face it elsewhere. So once you understand this, you might as well face it. So with this knowledge, what happens, even if it is not fully digested, and even if you have not brought about that complete transformation and not enlightened, you are fully equipped enough to face the challenges. You understand? That's why we say, even little bit of this knowledge is to deal with the challenges of life. The example given by Swami in the morning, nowadays around 5 itself, you will see the light coming. So you can switch off your light and you can go around, go for a walk. No need for the lights. Sun has not fully come. It's just started rising. In the initial stage itself, you can switch off all the lights and move around. Isn't it? Similarly, the sun within, the knowledge within, the wisdom is not fully risen. Just little knowledge is enough to deal with the challenges, over the challenges, not get tied with it and get affected by it. So that's the beauty of this knowledge. Therefore, you must strive to get this knowledge. So what happens is, people don't follow other sadhanas to qualify for this knowledge, or people get stuck in the other sadhanas. We find only these two people. Some people don't care about any other sadhana and no purification they go through. Other people do all the other sadhanas, but they get stuck there in those sadhanas. Ultimately, you have to come to knowledge. So that is what he's saying. Knowledge, these are the benefits you get. It completely burns off all the karmas. And now when we keep saying knowledge, 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 the 37th shloka that we did last week, last shloka, he beautifully says, as blazing fire reduces fuel to ashes, O Arjuna, so does the fire of knowledge reduce all actions to ashes. So we explained this in the class, that in Yajna Kud, they have put a lot of wood and they churn the wood and the fire starts. From where does the fire come? In the friction of the wood, the fire comes. So where is it coming from? Within the wood. And what is the fire consuming? The wood. Correct? So the wood is the fuel, and also the fire comes from the wood only. So in wood, there is both fuel and the fire. Similarly, in you, with this knowledge, you have to churn. You understand? We are coming to this class, we are listening or talking about it. But in our life, on a daily basis, we have to keep churning our personality with this knowledge. Then what happens? From within, the awareness comes. It's not something that is coming from outside. Please understand. What comes from outside is knowledge. What comes from within is wisdom. The awareness has to come from within. Simply getting some information and going will not bring about the change. What you do with it, if you start churning your personality, negating and asserting, negating the body, mind, intellect. I am not the body, I am not the mind, I am not the intellect. And asserting, I am Atma, the self. This is what that beautiful Atma Shatakam given by Adi Shankaracharya says, no? Mano buddhya hankara chittani naham nacha shrotra jihve nacha grana netre nacha vyoma bhumir na tejo na vayu chidananda rupaha Shivoham, Shivoham, Chidananda Rupa, Shivoham, Shivoham. So, this when we keep doing, from within the awareness comes, slowly, slowly from within it comes. And when it starts coming, it starts slowly burning away all our identification with the body, mind, intellect, everything. Slowly it consumes totally. You understand? Then what happens? He says, like, the knowledge reduces all karmas to ashes. Smasat kurute Arjuna. You understand? All becomes basma. Means what? Just ash. All gone. Now you become totally cleansed. So that's what he says. Therefore, knowledge is capable of destroying all the karmas. Therefore, you should do this. Bring about the awareness from within. See, anything you try, when you try to get rid of something, by force, it doesn't go. So, I keep saying the story of Saint Nagarjuna. There is a story about Saint Nagarjuna in which it says, he was a great master living ordinary life, and the queen of that country was a great devotee of that saint. And one day she had invited him to the palace for bhiksha. The saint only takes bhiksha, eats one meal a day, and that also whatever bhiksha comes. And he lives his life. So she said, please come to the palace. I want to give you bhiksha. Please give me the opportunity. He went there. It doesn't matter. He went there. And he had the lunch. And then she said, Swamiji, I want Guru Prasad from you. What is that? Please give me your begging bowl as the Prasad. She gave. Then she said, I want to give Guru Dakshina. Okay, what is it? She gave one begging bowl in return. And it was diamond-studded begging bowl. The begging bowl he gave to her, ordinary begging bowl made of clay. This begging bowl is diamond-studded. For him, it didn't matter. The diamond-studded, whatever, what goes into it, what matters. No? He's going to eat that only. He just took it casually. On the way, one fellow saw, he is taking such an expensive stuff, and he started following him. He's a thief. So Saint saw that, he's following him. He started walking a little fast. And this guy also started chasing him fast. And Saint started running fast. And he also started running. And he went so fast into his kutir, his hut, and from within he threw the begging bowl through the door. So this guy who was coming running from behind caught it. And he was stunned. I chased him for this only. And he's thrown it. You understand? He's thrown it. So he was wondering what happened. And he wanted to go and see him. So he entered the hut. Saint said, welcome. What can I do for you? What do you want? So what do you mean, what do you want? You know very well, I came running behind you for the begging bowl and you threw it. I mean, this diamond-studded stuff, and you threw it. So I came to see you. I said, that's why I said, welcome. What can I do for you? Because you've come to see me. You understand? You could have taken the stuff and gone, but you came in. So tell me what you want. No, Swamiji, I've been like this, stealing for a living. I tried my best. I went to many people. They all said, okay, from today you stop. We'll forgive you and all that. But I tried my best. Nothing happens. Nobody's giving me a job also. So I continued. So please help me to get rid of this. He said, okay. Go back and continue doing whatever you were doing before. I said, what? Yes, go back. Go and steal. Do the same thing what you've been doing before. Okay. At minimum, 10 days you do this. In different houses, 10 times you go and steal. Swamiji, I want to get rid of the stealing. That's why I'm saying go steal. You understand? The only thing is that every time you go to steal, steal with awareness. Steal with awareness. What? Yes. Then you come back. First day he went, tried with awareness, he couldn't steal. Came back. Second day, same thing. Third day came running. You are a jadugar. You took away my steal. I can't steal anymore now. I can't. I can't. You know, even smoking, whatever it is, people want to get rid of it, but they smoke with guilt. Right? Instead, try with awareness. From the time you remove the cigarette from the cigarette packet and the time you are keeping it on your lips, every moment you do it with awareness. You see if that smoking habit, for that matter, anything, can continue or not. Knowledge, awareness destroys. The problem is we do everything so mechanically, so it starts getting formed into a habit. That's the thing. So that's what he's teaching here. Verse 38.
Nahi jnanena sadrusham pavitramih vidyate tatsvayam yoga samshiddha kalenatmani vindati.
Verily, there is no purifier here. Here means in this world. Like knowledge. Nahi jnanena sadrisham pavitramiha vidyate. He who is perfected in yoga finds it in the self in time. Tat swayam yoga samsiddha kalena atmani vindati. Kalena atmani vindati. See, he's saying what really purifies you is knowledge. It's like fire. What purifies gold is fire. When you put it in fire, it gets purified. Isn't it? Similarly, he says, what purifies is knowledge. There is nothing like knowledge to purify you totally and give you that liberation. And he says, after that he says, he who is perfected in yoga, tat swayam yoga samsiddha. If you are perfected in yoga, you will get it in time, before time, erlong. Kalena atmani vindati. Meaning what? In kalena, in due course you will get it. If you are perfected in yoga, what does it mean? Yoga comes from the root yuj, which means to unite back to the origin. So, in this context here, the sadhanas at the body level, at the mind level, when you do it with the purpose of uniting with the origin, that gives you that inner purification that qualifies you for knowledge, and through knowledge you will conquer the self in you, within you. Atmani means in your inner personality. That's what he's saying. So, verily there is no purifier here like knowledge. He who is perfected in yoga finds it in time, in the self. See, that is why when he says yoga here, what he means is karma yoga and upasana or bhakti yoga. I think in the Q&A session last week, I think Sujata asked, you only asked, no? About how to get there, to convert this into wisdom or something. Practically, how to get there. So I said, karma, bhakti, jnana, KBG. KBG you'll know, not that KBG. That is KGB, right? This is KBG. You understand? KBG. What is it? Karma, bhakti, jnana. So, before coming to Gyan, you have to give yourself into karma and bhakti. Through your body, when you do the actions, do it as karma yoga, not just as karma. Right? And karma yoga means what? Every time karma yoga we talk about two things we have to remember. What? Arpana buddhi and prasada buddhi. Arpana buddhi and prasada buddhi. Means what? Whatever actions I do it as an offering to Bhagavan. Okay. And whatever comes as a result of such actions, I accept as prasad. So when you give a higher direction to your actions without any selfish self-centeredness, for a larger goal, it becomes karma yoga. You understand? So karma yoga purifies your thoughts, and bhakti yoga improves the quality of your thoughts. Upasana, the quality of your thoughts are improved, and it makes you more single pointed. Therefore, you do karma yoga and bhakti yoga. Right? And then after having purified, he says, through the knowledge, you will attain perfection in you. You will see the divinity within you. Don't see the divinity outside. You see it within yourself. So that's why the method is what? Karma yoga, bhakti yoga, jnana yoga. If you follow consistently, you will attain the state called uparati. Means you are reveling within. You are not depending on outside objects for your happiness. You may use the outside objects for transactional purpose, but you are not depending on it for your inner happiness. Are you with me? Then in that state, you can do more concentrated effort called dharana, and then get into dhyana, single pointed meditation. And through meditation, you liberate, attain jnana siddhi. That is self-realization. That's all he's saying. Knowledge purifies you, provided you are qualified through yoga. What yoga? Karma yoga and bhakti yoga. Without karma yoga and bhakti yoga, if you come to knowledge, it's a problem. Because then what will happen? Take the example of Hiranyakashipu. You know the story of Prahlada, no? Prahlada's father was Hiranyakashipu. What did he say? I am God. Right? What is the final declaration of an enlightened soul? I am God. Right? So when the Upanishads tell you, you are God, Tattvamasi. Right? And you do sadhana using that declaration aphorism, I am Atma Brahma, this Atma is Brahman. Then finally you declare, Aham Brahmasmi, I am Brahman. Now there when you say I am Brahman, are you saying that this Lakshmi Narayan is Brahman? This Nishit is Brahman? This Sujata is Brahman? This Nitin is Brahman? What are you saying? The Atma is Brahman. Isn't it? What you're saying is, the water in me and the water in the ocean is all one and same, is all you're saying. You're not identifying with the wave. Correct? But what happened to Hiranyakashipu? He misunderstood and he said, I am Brahman. And he had done enough tapas. And therefore, he started creating havoc. Do you understand? So, without purification, if you gain this knowledge, it's a problem. That's why, in the end, Sri Krishna is saying in the 18th chapter, do not give this knowledge to one who does not ask. And do not give this knowledge to one who does not ask appropriately, with the right attitude, the right qualification. If you do not have that qualification, then it's a big problem. And this knowledge you will start justifying for everything, and you will be bringing about destruction finally for yourself only. They say, no? Anger corrodes the vessel it holds. Anger corrodes the vessel it holds. In Tamil, in Tirukkural it says, Sinam ennum சேர்ந்தாரை கொள்ளி. Inam ennum ஏமப்புனையச்சுடு. This finally destroys you. That is why they say, first you have to go through the purification process through karma and bhakti. Without that, if you go, you won't benefit. Not only you won't benefit, you will have opposite result. It's a big problem. You will cause havoc for yourself and to others also. So that is why these shlokas have to be understood correctly. Nahi jnanena sadrisham pavitramiha vidyate. Please know that nothing more, nothing greater than knowledge is there that can purify you. What can really purify you is knowledge. But to come to that through yoga, you should have become purified. Otherwise, it won't go. You'll be like hot plate. Water sprinkled on a hot plate will evaporate rather than getting absorbed. And not only that, you will start justifying everything. See, intellect should give you advice independent of your likes and dislikes. But what happens is, many times when our likes and dislikes are too powerful, the intellect starts giving justification as to why you can go with your likes and dislikes. Isn't it? It should be objective, independent, and tell you whether this like is good for you, you can follow. Whether this dislike is something bad for you, you should avoid. Independently, it should give you guidance. But if the likes and dislikes are too powerful, it holds the intellect as a hostage. And then intellect will start saying, yes sir, no sir, 3 bags full sir, to the mind. Then it will come up with reasons as to why you can go with your likes. It will come up with reasons as to why you can avoid doing things which you don't like. What does it do finally? Initially it will give you a kick, but finally it kicks you. Isn't it? It is actually kicking you only. But initially it gives you a lot of kick. That's why he says, first become purified. You take any sadhana, even when you go to a guru for mantra diksha, they won't give you diksha. If, you are not purified. Only after you are sufficiently purified, they give you the mantras. Because what are mantras? Ananatrayate iti mantra. You keep on chanting the mantra again and again, repeatedly. That repeated chanting starts giving you power. That's why they say 108 times. 108 times, you do 108 times. Like that they keep doing. You understand? The more like that when they do sadhana, they start gaining more power. With that power, if your ego is not cleansed, you will be abusing that power. If that power comes after having purified, you will be using it. Then the power will be subservient to you. Otherwise, you will be subservient to power. Really, truly powerful person is one in whom power is powerless. Isn't it? Truly powerful person is one in whom power is powerless. If power is more powerful than you, you are not really powerful. Isn't it? That is what he's saying here. Next. Now, in 39th, he is going to talk about 3 sadhanas, what they call as sadhana at the inner level. Antaranga sadhana. There is something called as Bahiranga and there is something called as Antaranga. Bahiranga can vary from person to person. Right? Antaranga, everybody has to follow. It's like you go to many temples. Too much crowd sometimes. So what they do? They have different darshan. timings. And then there are tickets, right? There is a queue which has no money, free darshan. There is something at some lower cost, and then higher cost, and the highest. So when you go to the temples, very interesting. The highest ticket, if you buy, you could afford, and you buy that and you go. Very interesting thing you'll see, especially in South Indian temples. I don't know about the other places. Up to that one point, you go fast. Directly maybe. But there, everybody comes, you mix with them and go. So after that, everybody has to follow that only. All this at the external level, paisa hai, jaldi aa jao, paisa nahi hai, dur se aa jao. You understand all that. But Bhagavan ke samne, even you go, is the same thing. You understand? That's what he's saying. Antaranga sadhana. So, next shloka.
श्रद्धावान् लभते ज्ञानं तत्परः संयतेन्द्रियः ज्ञानं लब्ध्वा परां शान्तिम् अचिरेणाधिगच्छति.
He says, the three antaranga sadhanas are Shraddha. He says, Shraddhavan labhate jnanam. Very, very important. He says, he who has Shraddha, and then Tat Paraha means devoted is the translation Swamiji has given. One who is devoted, but Tat Paraha means that as supreme. One who considers that as supreme. I'll explain that. Then Samyatendriyaha, one who has controlled his indriyas very well. Right? So he who has Shraddha, who is devoted, who has subdued the senses, attains knowledge. Labhate jnanam. So, only and only if you have achieved these three, Shraddha, Tatparaha, Samyatendriyaha, then you can attain knowledge. Attain knowledge means what? The knowledge will get established in you. See, Swami Chinmayanandaji says, you can say, like for example, when we complete this fourth chapter, now we are in 39th shloka, there are only till 42. So we have 40, 41, 42, three more shlokas. With that, we'll conclude chapter 4. So we have a tradition, when we complete a chapter, we chant the first shloka of the chapter to remind ourselves that we have not finished the chapter, we have just begun. This Swami Chinmayanandaji says, I know you have gone through the chapter, but I don't know whether the chapter has gone through you. You understand? You have gone through. Has it gone into you? So therefore, the jnanam, attaining jnanam means what? Attaining jnanam means living according to knowledge. That's it. It's called attaining knowledge. If you say, I know potassium cyanide is poisonous, but you're keeping it in the transparent container next to the salt bottle in the kitchen. That means what? You don't know that potassium cyanide is poisonous. You can say, I know. Why are you then keeping it there? You don't know. That means. Isn't it? So that's what he's saying. Shraddhavan lapate jnanam tatpara samyatendriyaha. So these three, indriya control is very, very important. Because, you see, okay, before we come to indriya control, samyatendriyaha, let's go in the same order that he is giving. Shraddha. First of all, he's talking about Shraddha. This word Shraddha is highly misunderstood. Because the translation for it generally is faith. So, in faith, there are three types of faith. Real faith, and having no faith, and having blind faith. Shraddha, Ashraddha, Kushraddha. You understand? So, Shraddhavan labhate jnanam means I should have Shraddha. I should blindly believe. No, that's not what he's saying. Okay. But if I don't believe also, it's a problem. Why? Especially in this. See, when it comes to belief and faith, there are two quotations which explains this very well. One by Joe Goldsmith, other by Rabindranath Tagore. Joe Goldsmith says, faith is a belief in a thing which I do not know until I come to know what I believe in. Faith is a belief in a thing which I do not know until I come to know what I believe in. Once I know, then I don't need any faith. There's no faith required. You understand? I eat in a restaurant, or rather, I'm only cooking and I know there is no poison mixed in it. So then I don't need faith. But I'm going to a restaurant. I don't know. You understand? Whether if there is any food poisoning has happened in that food, faith is there. You get it? So only in the areas of ignorance, unknown faith comes, no? So if there are other means through which you can gain knowledge, like through seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, these indriyas can become a pramana, a means to gain knowledge. In those knowledge where indriyas can be pramanam, you don't need shraddha. Isn't it? You could verify. Similarly, where mind and intellect can go, you can verify. Correct? But this knowledge, even mind and intellect cannot go. Indriyas can go up to a certain level. Mind can go more than that. Eyes can see only up to this room, and through this window up to the tree I can see. Beyond that I can't see. But in my mind can go to London. My mind can go to America. Right? So mind can go to far beyond than the senses. It is much subtler. Right? But it cannot go to unknown. If I say, Kabhi kabaklo kush, you'll say, what? You don't know what it is. There is nothing. I just blabbered. No, supposing you ask, what is kabhi kabaklo kush? Then I explain. It's a fruit. It looks like orange but tastes like banana. Right? Then with your intellect now you are beginning to understand. Are you with me? With your intellect you're beginning to understand. So intellect can go to that unknown. But Atma, Brahman, is unknowable. Unknowable. What does that mean? It is not what you see, but what makes you see. It is not what you feel, but what makes you feel. It is not what you conceive, but what makes you conceive. Samjh gaya? What is Brahman? All this is given in Kena Upanishad. Yashrotrena nashrunoti yena shrotramidagum shrutam tadeva brahmatvam viddhi nedam yadidam upasate. It is not what you hear, but what makes you hear. So all the notes that you are taking is not Brahman. Because it is all what you heard. You understand? What makes you hear is God. It's not what you feel, what makes you feel. It's not what you conceive, what makes you conceive. So all your thoughts, what you call as knowledge, is not Brahman. So intellect cannot know it. It is that which makes the intellect conceive, whatever it can conceive. So therefore, whatever it conceives is not Brahman. You get it? You use the pair of tongs to grab many things. You can't use the same pair of tongs to grab your own palm or fingers. You can't. Isn't it? But that very hand you can't use and hold the tongs and try to hold the fingers. So like that, intellect is enlivened by consciousness. Intellect cannot understand consciousness. So in this area, all other pramanams fail. Now, whatever knowledge you are getting from the Guru, if you do not have Shraddha in the Guru Vakya, and if you do not have Shraddha in the Shastra, you cannot achieve knowledge. This knowledge, Atma Jnana, especially we are talking about Atma Jnana. Here when he says Jnana, he is talking about Atma Jnana. All other knowledge is different. You get it? So that is why one of the important qualities of a student is Shraddha. Viveka, Vairagya, Shatsampati, Mumukshatva. In Shatsampati, Shama, Dhamma, Uparama, Titiksha, Shraddha, Samadhana. They give Shraddha as one of the important qualities. But Shraddha is not blind faith. If you have no Shraddha, what happens? You listen, it was wonderful, and then you go back and do whatever you've been doing. Means what? You are not going to apply and make it your own because it is not yet become your conviction. Therefore, there is not going to be any consistency, and therefore you are not going to get that wisdom. So what is Shraddha? Shraddha is not blind faith. Shraddha is not skin deep faith either. Shraddha is much deeper. It is faith plus conviction plus consistency. So Rabindranath Tagore says, he compares faith to a bird. He says, as a bird that feels the light and sings while the dawn is still dark. Now the faith comes into play. The dawn is still dark, but the bird starts singing that the sun is going to come out. Like that faith has to be there. You understand? And that's why in the knowledge, he says, no, jnana, vijnanam and all that. So there are areas in this knowledge itself, the Guru, when he teaches with no axe to grind, which could be referred, understood by your body, mind, intellect, your organs of perception and mind and intellect, those things and all, when you begin to understand, you start developing Shraddha, in the words of the Guru. So in this area, you have that faith to take that leap. See, if you don't have faith, how will you take that leap? On the ground, they teach you, and you go for that, what do you call them? Para jumping and all that. First they teach you here, no? Then they take you. You have to jump. If you don't jump, then you cannot have that experience. So that's what he says. Shraddhava labhate jnanam. So for that Shraddha, for that knowledge, you have to take a leap. You have to be ready to drop these conditionings. You have to be ready to drop these conditionings. And it is a very big thing. For example, society, camellia, community. You understand? All these things we have, Vedanta community. We have so many conditioned societies. Each one having their own rights and wrongs and this and that conditionings. So as long as you abide by that, you're part of that society. The moment you think independently, then what? You have to be ready to be left alone. To be ready to be left alone. Yes or no? And if you do not have that courage, then what will you do? You will mortgage your soul. You will mortgage your soul. And as long as you have mortgaged your soul, you continue living here. You can't take the leap and enjoy the sky. So that's all he's saying. So therefore, you need to have that faith, that Shraddha. Shraddha faith comes with corroboratory evidences. And that corroboratory evidence is what I said. In the areas where Guru is also teaching, which can be verified through the other means, when you do tapas and understand, then you build confidence and faith in the Guru's Vakya. Are you with me? So Shraddha, and then Tatparaha. Tatpara means that as supreme. That as supreme means you should come to that situation where do or die attitude, they say. No? I rather die, but as long as I'm alive, all my efforts will be directed only in that direction. It's called tatparaha. And for that, whatever things I need to free myself from at the sense level so that nonsense doesn't go in, I practice sense control. Because that's the door through which the world comes, no? So, sense control at the body level, devotion at the mind level, then Shraddha, faith at the intellectual level, conviction. Then, if you have these three, you can attain knowledge. And through knowledge, if you ask, so what will happen? So, next week, do you think you're going to conclude? Will you do the 3 shlokas that is left? And at the time when you conclude 4th chapter, you think will all be realized? He says, year long. You can't say. See, you have, all of us, let's say loan we have. Somebody has X, somebody has more than 10 times more than that X, somebody has 100 times more than X. You understand? Like that, everybody has loans. When will the loan be cleared? That depends on what is the loan you have, how much effort you are putting to gain money, and how much of the money that you are gaining is going to pay the loan, and how consistent are you on that. Based on that, you will finish it fast or you will take time. So Sri Krishna says, therefore, I don't know, Baba, year long. But one thing is sure, like in airlines parlance, when you sit, when you go to the airport and say, which is London? They say, that is London. That is London means that's the flight that goes to London. If you sit in that flight, it is as good as going to London. Are you with me? So, ere long, before long, if you have Shraddha, Tatparaha, Samyatendriyaha, before long, you gain that supreme peace. You gain that Param Shantim, self-realization, enlightenment. So, in short, you will not ask, when will I get there? You are only interested in being in the right direction. Whenever I get there, let me get. I don't care. I continue putting in my effort. Let's conclude. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.